Genesis 1. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Genesis 2. Yahweh God formed man from the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. And Yahweh God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to tend and keep it. And Yahweh God commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat from, for in the day that you eat of it you shall surely die. So Adam gave names to all livestock, and to the birds of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam a suitable helper was not found. And Yahweh God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh in its place. And Yahweh God made the rib which he had taken from the man into a woman, and he brought her to the man. And Adam said, Now this is bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. This one shall be called woman, because this one was taken out of man. Genesis 3. Now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field which Yahweh God had made. And he said to the woman, Has not God indeed said, You shall eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, The fruit of the trees of the garden we may eat, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the middle of the garden, God has said, You shall not eat it, nor shall you touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said to the woman, Surely you will not die, for God knows that in the day you eat of it, then your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and desirable, a tree to make one wise, then she took of its fruit and ate. And she gave also to her husband with her, and he ate. And the eyes of the two of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves coverings. And they heard the sound of Yahweh God walking in the garden in the breeze of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh God among the trees of the garden. And Yahweh God called to Adam and said to him, Where are you? So he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told you that you were naked? From the tree that I commanded you, you should not eat from. Have you eaten? And the man said, The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate. And Yahweh God said to the woman, What is this you have done? And the woman said, The serpent deceived me, and I ate. So Yahweh God said to the serpent, Because you have done this, you are cursed more than all livestock, and more than every beast of the field. On your belly you shall go, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life. And enmity I will put between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. And Yahweh God said, Behold, the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. Now, lest he put out his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever. Therefore Yahweh God sent him out of the Garden of Eden. Genesis 4. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I have acquired a man from Yahweh. And she again bore this time his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And it came to pass in the course of time that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering to Yahweh, and Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock and of their fat. And Yahweh looked favorably upon Abel and his offering, but Cain and his offering he did not respect. And Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell. So Yahweh said to Cain, Why are you angry, and why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not well, sin lies at the door, and its desire is for you, but you should rule over it. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and killed him. And Yahweh said to Cain, Where is Abel your brother? And he said, I do not know. Am I keeper of my brother? And he said, What have you done? The voice of the blood of your brother cries out to me from the ground. So now you are cursed from the earth, which has opened its mouth to receive the blood of your brother from your hand. When you till the ground, it shall no longer yield its strength to you. A fugitive and a wanderer you shall be on the earth. Genesis 5. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him.